Hey folks, what's happening? Welcome back to the Deron Harris program. I am your host, Deron Harris. Thank you again for tuning into my 11th episode. Today we got some stuff we need to talk about that is happening in our country. All the mass shootings, man. We're going to be talking about that today. So stick around. Things should be good. Actually, I want things to be good. I want to have I got some things I want to say about it. I feel kind of, a particular way about it. And I will be addressing how I feel about it. So, and hopefully I'll be going over and covering some things or some feelings that some of you out there may have as well. So, but first, I want to give a shout out to, this is not really on the subject, but I want to give a shout out to this lady. Her name is Vicky. I hope I'm saying it right. Her name is Vicky Umodu. U-M-O-D-U. Umodu. Something. I don't know. Anyway, she's from California, and this lady, she bought a couch. She bought a used couch, and I want to shout out. She bought a used couch off of Craigslist. So she called these people, and she went and picked the couch up, took it home, was trying to get comfortable, and she was feeling in the cushions, and she noticed there was something in the cushions. She thought it was a heating pad. She pulled it out, and it was $36,000 in cash. So this lady found $36,000 in a couch that she got off of Craigslist. But that's not why I'm shouting her out. I'm shouting her out because she actually did the right thing by the family, man. And I know they dodged the bullet because she gave it back. She contacted the family and gave the $36,000 back to the family that she got it from. So I want to say, we'd like to all say that we have a big heart like that, but I don't know. A lot of us probably would have just been off in Cancun, someplace blowing money, trying to buy some gold fronts or some rims or some shit like that. But I want to give. The people gave her $2,200. She said she didn't expect to get anything from it, but they gave her $2,200 anyway. The amount that she needed to buy a brand new refrigerator. So that's what she was really looking for. So they helped her get that based on her returning all. She could have got. Shit, she could have got a whole down payment on a whole new house instead of a refrigerator. So, but shout out to Vicky Umodu out in Colton, California. Today's Dope Shit Award, though, goes to a couple of twins, man. These brothers what they did I think is dope. Devon, D-E-V-O-N, and Tevin, T-E-V-O-N, Woods. Devon and Tevin Woods. They are two twins, and they walked 176 miles to raise awareness about foster care. The two of them they're twins that were left in foster care. Their mother, I guess, had some issues with drugs, and they were taken from her, and they were placed in foster care for 17 years. And they didn't have, they had not such a good experience. So they wanted to raise some awareness about this. So they decided to walk from Statesboro, Georgia to Jacksonville, Florida. That's 76 miles. That's crazy. That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? But they are right. That's something, foster care is another thing that should be looked at, should be addressed, because, there's lots of issues in foster care. Lots of issues with foster care. Foster care is very, very, very close to my heart. Well, very close to me because my mother was a foster mother, for many, many, many years. Many years. My youngest brother was in foster care, and my mother, she made him our forever brother, and I am grateful to her every day for what she did, because he turned out better than all of us. Eugene is better than all of us. My brother is better than all of us. You know what I'm saying? But, we love him. He's our brother, period. Point blank. There's nothing you could say to us about this cat. You know what I mean? If you say something to this brother right here, you got to deal with me first. And not for nothing, I got a special affinity for him because we have the same birthday. So And even in that, I want to, if you're listening to this, Eugene, I love you, man. I love you, bruh. I love you. You are my brother. You know what I'm saying? I'd do anything in the world for you. So shout out to you. Maybe one day you can come on the show. We can sit and chop it up for a little while. I know we don't talk much, but I'm running around a lot, but he's the best of us. And he loves my mother, if he could give her the moon right now today, I mean, we all would, but they've been joined at the hip since birth. So shout out to those two, dudes. I think that what they did is great. I think it's awesome. So today's earbuds is kind of poignant for right now. I've been listening to a lot of NWA this week. A lot of NWA. My favorite album was Niggas for Life. But their other stuff was good. I've been listening to Fuck the Police, to be honest with you, but not Fuck All Police. That's not where I'm at right now. But I'll tell you where I am at. Fuck them police down in Texas where all them kids got shot up. Fuck them dudes. Straight like that. You went in there and rescued your own kids and you fuck you. You all need to be fired. You all need to be liable. You could have really done something. But instead they chose to sit out there and do nothing. So I've been on my NWA shit this week. But they had a lot of other good songs. Like I said, Niggas for Life was probably my favorite album. And they have a song on there called Niggas for Life. And it's so poignant because they was talking about what's going on right now. They was talking about this 25, 30 years ago, man. Some of you young heads, you won't even dig back in the crates. You don't even know what I'm talking about. But they really did. And I will say this too, man. Dr. Dre made some beats on that, man. Niggas for Life, that whole album was laced with like silly hot beats, especially for that time. And like he said, he even said it in one of the songs, I'm one of the best producers in the rap music industry. And that was back 30 years ago. And I'm telling you, still fire. I mean, there's a track on the album called Appetite for Destruction. That beat right there, I want to take and I for myself, I want to take and sample and remake that because, hopefully maybe I'll tag him in it. Hopefully maybe I could do it a little bit of justice, but that beat right there is really, really, really serious. But, I've been listening to him because, on top of, yeah, of course, it was NWA, vulgar, angry niggas, you know what I'm saying? But they did say a lot of things that people at the time were afraid to say. And they did bring a lot of light to a lot of things, a lot of issues that we are still suffering through to this day. So I've been listening to them, just kind of listening to, their message. And yeah, their message is pretty much, fuck with me, we're gonna fuck with you back. You know what I'm saying? And, they made it okay to speak up. They made it okay to say something about the conditions that we were suffering, at the hands of police, at the hands of white people, et cetera, et cetera. They made it okay to say shit. They made it okay to stand up. And they also made it okay to stand up and be militant about it. They made it okay to be angry about it. They made it okay. Before, I'm not, taking, anything else, before, but, we can only do so much Young MC. Okay, bust a move. We can do only so much, Coolio and Tone Loc. We passive with it. You know what I'm saying? They took it straight there. They took it where Chuck D took it, and then they took it a step further. You know what I'm saying? As far as, trying to raise awareness to the conditions that we are suffering. So I've just been listening to, some NWA, trying to, thinking back to when I first got the album, what times were back then. I was 30 years ago, I was living 25, 30 years ago, I was living in Tampa, Florida when the album came out, and I got it. I remember getting it. I listened to it so much. I got it on tape. That's how old it was. I bought it on tape. You know what I'm saying? I bought the cassette tape of NWA Niggas for Life. I knew all the words. But even back then, I understood. Even back then, I kind of understood what was popping. So, you know what I'm saying? So, I don't know, man. I'm a little down about what's going on. So, I want people to start realizing what's happening. It ain't about them. It's about our future. It really is. And it seems like the future of this country is not going in the right direction currently. I don't want to blame. I'm not that dude. I'm not going to place the blame game, and I'm really not going to make this political right now. So I'm not going to say nothing about Donald Trump. I'm not going to say nothing about Joe Biden. And if I'm going to say anything about both of them, fuck them. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I stand with that. So all you Trump supporters, you can kiss my ass, and all you Biden supporters, even though I voted for the motherfucker, y'all can kiss my ass too. I mean, it's politics is stupid to begin with. It gets in the way of so many things that need to get done. But that's another story. That's another podcast. And on to the strain of the week. The strain of the week is brought to you by Leafly. Leafly strain of the week. The strain of the week is LA Kush. And I know everybody's been familiar with LA Kush, but I do like it. I've always liked LA Kush. It's a good, it does well by me. It's a little higher on the THC side. It ain't real high, but it's a little higher on the THC side, so you definitely know it touches you. It's in LA stands for Los Angeles. If you didn't really realize, it came from LA, and that's where it was made. So, you know what I'm saying. But it's a hybrid. It's gonna give you some talkative energy. You're gonna be wanting to talk to everybody. Blah 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 blah. You're gonna be philosophizing your ass off. That's kind of sometimes where I want to sit down and I want to kind of take myself out there. I get with some LA Kush, and I can sit there and I talk with my wife, and that's how I kind of rehearse my podcast, because I talk it out first. I talk about some of the points first before I get into it. But this helps with that, and you'll definitely feel relaxed. It's a relaxing feeling. According to Leafly, the flavors are mentholy, nutty, and piney. It does help with stress and depression and anxiety. It helps with all those, as they all do, but in different capacities. But this one does help with stress, because I've been going through a lot of stress, and we'll go over that later in the podcast. But I've been going through a lot of stress as of lately. So, but if you can get a hold of it, I definitely recommend it. Like I said, I will never, suggest anything to you guys that I don't think is worth it. And I definitely think that is worth it. So that has been the Leafly strain of the week, which is LA Kush. I'm going to take a quick break, maybe pay a couple of bills, and when I come back, we're going to figure out what's popping. Hey folks, today's program is being brought to you by Your Pleasures Erotic Health and Wellness Boutique. Your Pleasures has a wide variety of adult educational materials, top-notch adult novelties and clothing, real-world dating and relationship advice, and more. Pleasures, that's Your Pleasures, not only focuses on erotic pleasure and satisfaction, we aim to educate people about the health and wellness benefits of intimacy. We are here to prove that sexuality is not naughty, it's necessary. So stop by Your Pleasures, that's ur-pleasures.com, and see for yourself. That's yourpleasures.com. Okay, folks, welcome back. What's poppin'? Okay, today what's poppin'? Is the bullshit-ass mass shootings going on in our country, and the gun laws, and everybody's up in arms, no pun intended, about what's happening as far as the gun laws and the shootings that are happening, and the motivations behind the shootings. And, there's a lot of things that are happening that have happened in this past 3 weeks, man. In 3 weeks, we've had 3 mass shootings. That's crazy. In 3 weeks. 4. We had another one today. There was a hospital that was where 4 people were shot. A gentleman walked into the hospital, went to a separate floor, and shot and killed some people. And before he was shot and killed himself. And that same thing that happened with the cocksucker who shot up on. I don't want to really call him, but that's what he did. It was a cocksucker ass move, man. I'm shooting up all the kids. That dude. That dude. The dude up in Buffalo and whoever shot up the church out in California. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. That's been lighting up the news. And now I'm watching news. People are afraid to go places. I'm afraid, man, can't go nowhere. Where are you going to go? Without looking over your shoulder all the damn time. I know for me, one thing I do is I like to sit with my back in the corner. Any place I go, I sit with my back to the corner so I can look at the room. While I sit there and enjoy my cheeseburger. Try to talk to my wife. What's happening? You say a little bit about gun control and everybody just, what are you talking about? Like you're going to try to, nobody's trying to take anybody's guns away. Nobody's trying to take anybody's guns away. But there needs to be something done about what's going on with the guns. Point blank, period, point blank. Nobody looks, somebody said to me the other day, oh, these guys are criminals. Well, they weren't. Some of them weren't criminals until they went out and killed a bunch of people. Then they're criminals. Then all of a sudden they're murderers. They went from, not being anything, all of a sudden being, first degree murderers. And you know what I'm saying? One of the problems is that I believe, all right, is there's something like 36 states in the union. Let me see that. Let me find that again. There's like 36 states in the union that you don't need any credentials to walk up and buy a gun. I mean, of course you need an ID, but all you need to be is of age. You know what I'm saying? We got dudes 18 years old, people not even old enough to drink, walking up, going to get a firearm. Can just purchase a firearm. The guy who shut up the church, he bought the firearm. I mean, at the church, I'm sorry, the hospital. He bought the firearm the day of. He bought an AR styled, which I learned some things. The AR styled. The AR stands for Armalite, by the way, if you don't know what AR and AR-15 stands for. But these are AR-styled weapons. Everybody makes a 15. Colt, everybody makes a 15. But the AR style, that's the thing. And they're, from what it was put to me like this. The AR is kind of like, or that style of weapon is kind of like the Lego of guns. You can trick them out. You can, add, stocks on them and change the barrel and all kinds of different things you can do to them. So people like to trick them out and, make them look cool. And that's why they're cool. That's fine, for them. But for the rest of us that aren't really into that, it's kind of scary. And it seems a bit dangerous. It seems a bit dangerous, especially when somebody who has had, no mental health evaluation or anything is able to just walk in. An 18-year-old is just able to walk in and purchase an item that the sole purpose of this item is to kill things. People always hit me, a car was made to drive you from point A to point B. Well, what about a knife? A knife can be used as a tool. But a gun was made, thought of, and conceived, manufactured with the sole purpose of taking a life. Oh, well, we use it for protection. It was made for protection. No. Well, hold on, wait a minute. Yeah, with deadly force. There's all kinds of other ways to protect yourself. But a gun, you can't. oh, we're just going to use this gun for something else. We're going to stick some water in it and stick some flowers out of it. No, you can't do that. A gun was made to kill people. And now we have children. And there's some state where these things are gifted to people. Sometimes these things are gifted to people. They give them to 16-year-olds, trying to become a man. We're going out in the woods. We're going to kill our first deer. This kid's 16. You teach them how to take a life. But everybody thinks that's okay. No, we're not. No, what about us that live up in, all these rural, that we don't live in the rural. Us down here, I mean, if you live in the rural, maybe I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? But maybe that's necessary. But where we live, there ain't no reason for some 16-year-old, 18-year-old to be walking around with a machine gun, or should be able to purchase this machine gun, readily, right now, today. A lot of the motivation, people don't check the motivations of these people who shoot these things up, who shoot places up, and they don't check the motivations. They don't check the mental stability of this person. They don't do anything. A lot of these, like the dude, the motivations are different. They're so vastly different. But in all cases, almost all cases, there is some sort of mental issue that plagues these people, whether it be somebody bullied the shit out of this person, or this person is a social outcast and they found camaraderie within a hate group or whatever. These are kids. These are still kids. 2 of these shooters were under the age of 21, under the age of 20. The guy who shot up the grocery store in Buffalo, his motivation was racial. Didn't like black people. So do we have to watch out for that? Some crazed neo-Nazi white supremacist rolling up into our neighborhoods when we ain't doing nothing. We have to worry about that now. Remember what happened to the church with Dylan Roof and all? Remember that? That wasn't. The guy's name is escaping me who shot the church up with the church parishioners. The first guy that shot up the black church a few years back, but his name is escaping me. But remember that? Do we have to? Is that what we're doing now? Now they want people to carry guns in church. Now they want teachers to start carrying guns in school. Man, where are we at, America? We the only motherfucking country that's doing this. The fuck is our problem, man? Are we that proud? Are we that, I gotta, don't take my guns. Don't take my gun rights. And nobody's trying to shit on the Second Amendment, man. I'm sorry. Nobody's trying to do that. But everybody always thinks as soon as you start talking gun control that you're trying to take their guns. Nah, man. Nah. But there needs to be some motherfucking control. And I'll tell anybody at the top of NRA, Trump, I don't give a fuck who it is. I don't care who it is. I don't care who the fuck it is. I'll tell you in your face. Charlton Heston, Yul Brynner, I don't give a damn. John Wayne, I'll dig his ass up and tell that motherfucker too. This shit got to be regulated, man. A kid shouldn't be able to walk and purchase an AR-15. I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? Oh, well, what about, maybe if they had some sort of formal training. Now, let me tell you what I think needs to fucking happen, okay? This is what I really think needs to happen as far as the guns are concerned. If you want a gun in this country, right, you have every right to own a firearm in this country. I'm not opposed to that. But I do think there needs to be a 6-month psychological evaluation. Period, point blank, straight across the board. You fill out the application, you want to get a gun, cool, 6-month psychological evaluation in conjunction with 6 months of firearm safety training before you even touch a firearm. Period. Point blank. Simple as that. As long and once you get that evaluation and everything comes back A-OK, cool, here you go, man. You get your little gun license. Boom, bam. But you can't go out and get anything you want, though. You still got to earn some merit. You still got to earn some merit. So, okay, this is what you do. You got your gun license, and all right, cool, I'm going to go pick out me a gun. Now, these are based on you. These are the tiers of guns that you are allowed to carry right now. Bing. You get this, da. All right. Now, with this particular tier of weapon, you need to accumulate 100,000 hours with this particular tier of weapon before you can move on to the next tier of weapon, which is maybe a step above what you have. And the same thing, 100 some odd hours, 1,000 hours with that weapon that you are trained, and those hours are logged and you've learned about it and your education about these things continues. And then you've all right, you get an email that says you've reached these hours, and then another tier opens up and okay, man, there's the AR. Cool, I can get an AR. But now I've had 400,000 hours with a firearm in my hand. Just like a parachute, man. They don't let a motherfucker just jump out the plane by himself. Just because he's 18. I'm going to strap this parachute on. Nah, man, you got to talk to this dude first. Okay, you got to pull this at this altitude. Da-da-da-da. If you do this, you're going to pancake. You know what I'm saying? But nah, you could just run out and grab you a pistol or not necessarily a pistol, and sometimes a pistol only takes a couple days. You can go get a rifle from anywhere. You know, shout out to Walmart too for stop selling firearms over the counter. That should have never fucking happened. You know what I'm saying? You know, we got armed militia hate groups, man. Domestic militia. You know, where does this hate for people come from? You know what I'm saying? This dude obviously was watching it. You know, he was obviously watching it. He was obviously, you know, all up on it. That type of stuff needs to be known about. That's what I'm sorry. You know, we need to sit down and evaluate this dude. And if somebody who ran had not just his background, because like I said, you know, motherfuckers ain't a criminal until you pull the fucking trigger, then you a felon and a murderer. And listen, you know, a thorough psychological evaluation, I think, would have detected that, especially in somebody that's 18 years old. Same thing with the guy in Texas. A thorough psychological evaluation would have detected that this guy had some issues. And also, because that's the one thing I hate hearing about is after the fact. This dude has committed all this shit, and then they say, oh, well, he was bullied, and then, you know, this happened, and then his mother did that. Well, if we'd have known that, maybe we could have prevented this. Maybe somebody could have sat down with dude and said, yo, homie, it's a different way. A lot of times people do this because they're at their wits' end. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that what he did was I'm not condoning, but I'm sure he was bullied. You know what I'm saying? But that's no right. That's no reason to go out and do that. But you can't reason that into somebody that's 18. You know what I'm saying? Somebody's 18 years old, your girlfriend break up with you, want to jump off a fucking bridge. You know what I'm saying? You ain't thinking straight when you 18. And now you want to give this dude a gun. We have soldiers that join the military. And that's another way to do it. If you join the military, join our military. You know what I'm saying? Get the proper training in our military. You know what I'm saying? You'll get the proper training. You can ascend up the tier level quickly. And you'll be able to purchase your weapon, but you'll have the proper education and the proper compassion that is needed to possess a firearm. You know, I said something on my social media the other day, and immediately, regulate. I didn't say nothing, but people are so quick to talk about, the Second Amendment got to defend our gun. But hold on, man, who's defending these kids? I'm just saying there needs to be. I think the meme I posted. I think the meme I posted. I'm still getting a little bit of burn on it. If I could pull it up real fast. Here on my Facebook really fast, because I really kind of wanted to kind of talk about this a little bit. Also, I had posted this thing, all these people, okay, Junior reacted to, okay, I'm still I'm still kind of like, I can't believe that people are like, even kind of trying to defend this after the fact. Now, come on, I didn't do that. Anyway, it was, here it is, new rule. Thoughts and prayers have to be replaced by action and change. And some people liked it, but then I got some comments on it. And some of the comments were like, after 9/11, we didn't ban planes. We secured cockpits and secured the schools, right? That's what somebody said. And I'm like, yo, fuck that. And the reason why I'm like, one of the reasons I'm like, fuck that is because the first defense after me saying, all I said was thoughts and prayers need to be replaced by action and change. And somebody immediately jumped to, I'm trying to ban. So I'm not trying to ban. I'm trying to get some action and some change. You know what I'm saying? I ain't banning nothing. I'm trying to get some action and some change because, what happens is this happens, we march, we watch some funerals, everybody mourns and we go right back. The cycle continues, man. It's thoughts and prayers. You know what I'm saying? Thoughts and prayers. You know what I'm saying? And I replied to that comment. I said, yeah, but there's no reason for an 18-year-old to have an AR-15. There needs to be some sort of control, which he did agree with. And then another friend of mine chimed in and says, the AR-15 is a pistol or a rifle with a little extra accuracy. I have two. I said, did he have it legally modified to be automatic or something? Civilians can't get automatic weapons from anywhere other than a dark alley. I responded to that. I said, yeah, but you're mature enough and psychologically sound enough to own one. You know what I'm saying? These kids weren't. These people who got these weapons, wherever they got them from, they were not psychologically sound enough. They were not mature enough. They just weren't. Those are the facts. It's the truth. And sometimes the truth hurts the worst. We got to do something, folks. We got to stand up. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I have a 14-year-old son, super bright boy, man. I would hate for somebody to walk into his school. You know what I'm saying? I would hate that. But nobody seems to care. Everybody just cares more about, their guns. And not for nothing. What you need 15 guns for? You only got two hands, motherfucker. What you need 15 guns for? For what? Oh, well, some of these guns are going to be priceless after a while when they outlaw. I don't give a fuck about that. There's other ways to make money. There's other ways. That's just putting those guns back out on the street to anybody. Because you're not going to do any kind of background check. You're just going to take the first couple of grand you get. And you're going to sell that gun off. Peace. And that gun right there that you bought to save, to sell because they banned it, is now in somebody's hands that could potentially do something dangerous with it when they shouldn't have had it in the first place because what? It's banned. But people don't care. They just don't care, man. Americans don't care because that shit, it don't happen no place else but here. Americans don't care. We don't give a fuck. I had a buddy. He said, I deserve to have an AR-15. I deserve it. I'm a hardware. I said, what about the guys who the mass shooters? Did they deserve? No, they were criminals. I said, they weren't criminals until they killed those people. Well, you don't know what to say. Anybody can get one. Anyone can get one. Just about. It's almost, it's harder to get a driver's license. You know, motherfuckers want to be able to, and this was quoted too. Motherfuckers want to be able to, because it's fun. Is it fun watching all these caskets roll by, man? That ain't fucking fun. That ain't fun at all. I know it ain't fun to these parents. I'm going to tell you what, some of you arrogant ass dickheads need to just come down off that for a few minutes and put yourselves in the shoes of these parents and come to the determination that there needs to be some sort of control of who gets these fucking weapons that everybody's just flooding the fucking streets with. I did a little bit of research. It's harder to get a driver's license. I've already said that. It's harder also to afford to receive affordable health care than it is to get a rifle. In Texas, it takes less training to get a gun than a driver's license if you're under the age of 25. In Arizona, you can't cut hair without a permit, but you can carry a concealed weapon without a permit in Arizona. You can carry a concealed weapon in Arizona, but you can't cut a motherfucker's hair. In Florida, you don't need license, registration, or a permit to buy a gun. That's where I live. You don't need a permit to carry a handgun. Who can, it could be anybody. It could be anybody. Look at Chicago. Chicago is on fucking fire. They just shot a cop in the street at a traffic stop the other day. Somebody just, come on, man. Where do you think they're getting the fucking guns from? They don't make them. Yeah, they got them off the back of a truck. Who the fuck you think told them about the back of the fucking truck? We need to start getting smart, America. We ain't smart right now. We damn sure ain't smart right now. Definitely needs to be more stringent psychological evaluation. Somebody even had an idea, maybe we start in school, maybe your senior year in high school, you start learning about gun safety, firearm safety. I think that's a great idea. I think that's a fantastic idea. You know what I'm saying? It's so fucking crazy that it's so easy to get a gun here. 21 weeks into the year. There's been already 213 mass shootings. Bet you didn't know that, huh? I'm sorry, with it, 214. That's fucking wild business, right? That's fucking wild ass business. Easiest states to get a gun: Alabama, Alaska, Arkansas, Colorado, Delaware, Florida, Georgia, Idaho, Indiana, Kansas, Louisiana, Maine, Mississippi, Missouri. It's so crazy, too. There's more than that. Montana, Nevada, New Hampshire, New Mexico. It just keeps going. North Dakota, Ohio, Oklahoma, Oregon, Pennsylvania. Listen to some of this shit. Listen to some of this shit. In Florida, license, registration, or permit required to buy a gun? No. Permit needed to carry a handgun? Yes. Registered guns per 1,000 adults? 6.1. So 16 of these guns out of every 1,000 adults, 16 guns are registered. Federal firearm licenses per 1,000 establishments, 14. That's bananas. You know what I'm saying? In Alaska, license, registration to buy a gun? Nope. Permit to need to carry a handgun? Nope. It's crazy, man. It just makes me so sad. Because we would rather defend the right to carry a gun than defend the lives of our children. Somebody needs to grow up. Somebody needs to understand. Somebody needs to get to the point where, hey, man, this is wrong. The Second Amendment is cool, but man, you know what? Sometimes it's cool to amend the amendments. You should have the right to bear arms. Everybody should. You should have the right to bear arms. But there needs to be some regulation to that. And everybody's just going to have to fucking understand it. But it comes all back down to politics and lobbyists, and the NRA, et cetera, blah, 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 so on and so forth. It's stupid. Too much red tape to protect our children. Too much red tape to protect our schools. Too much red tape to protect our grocery stores, our churches, and now our hospitals. Is that all we care about, America, is money? Because if you don't think this is motivated by cash money, you're sadly mistaken. This is all about some cash. Otherwise, it'd be simple, right? Oh, that's fucked up. You know, bunch of kids. Oh, yeah, let's get that off the street right there. No reason for people to be, being able to shoot. No reason for that. You know what I'm saying? But I don't want to really get on that. I really want to talk about the cowardly ass fucking police. I want to talk about a couple of things with the police. Now, this kid that shot up the grocery store up in Buffalo, right? This kid that shot up the grocery, they took this motherfucker into custody. If that dude was black, that motherfucker would have been splattered all over the fucking concrete. And that's happened. I saw a meme where all these mass shooters, they were apprehended. And then right on that same meme, there was a bunch of, unarmed black citizens that were killed for nothing by the police. But the police can apprehend these motherfuckers? You can apprehend a guy that just shot up the whole grocery store. You can apprehend him? But you can shoot Breonna Taylor in the back. You can just shoot her, right? You could kneel on this dude's neck, right? You could have another dude that ain't even a fucking cop kill a kid for running through the neighborhood, right? You could do that? Shit is bananas, bro. And then the cops down in Texas, them dudes all need to be charged. I'm sorry. Them dudes need to be charged. That shit is negligent as fuck. You know what I'm saying? They went in there and rescued their own kids and then turned around and left. And the gun, how long was the shooter in there, babe? Like 80 minutes? He was in there for fucking 80 minutes. While you motherfuckers stood outside and held parents back from going to get their own children. You motherfuckers need to be ashamed of yourselves. You need to be stripped of the badge. You need to be, really, you need to be sued by everyone. And I think you need to be locked the fuck up, personally. I think you need to be locked up. You're a bunch of fucking cowards. Quick to put this gun on around your fucking waist. Got a badge and a gun. You a big man now, but you ain't shit, bro. You ain't shit. You ain't shit. None of you. Not the chief of police, not the motherfucker. None of you. None of you. Fuck you. Okay? Straight from the Deron Harris podcast to you motherfuckers. Fuck y'all. For not doing something to save them children. Just sat your asses outside. Just sat your asses right outside and listen to these people scream. These kids called 911 over and over and over again, and you motherfuckers just sat there. A dying teacher. She was on the phone with her husband, man. She was on the phone with her husband. They said she didn't even breach the classroom, did not breach the school. Did not even breach the school. This lady was on the phone. She was dying, sitting there with her husband on the phone. They ought to be ashamed of themselves. I'm dead ass serious, man. I know there's some dead spots, but I'm just sitting here baffled, man. I'm just sitting here inside my brain like, holy fucking shit. You cannot be serious. And I don't really want my podcast to be this ranty, angry, but I'm fucking mad, man. I'm sorry. This week's Deron Harris podcast is, when the fuck is it going to stop, y'all? We all need to stand up. Everybody who's listening, man, anybody who's downloading my podcast, if you're still listening right now, we all need to pull together. Let's try and pull together something so that we can get some change, so that we can make these fools change. You know how you make these fools change? You vote their ass out of office, period. You vote them out. Fuck all this old money. Fuck all these old influenced political, but fuck that. We need to vote some new folks in. People who care about people. People who care about everybody. People who care about other races. People who care about LGBTQ. People who actually care as opposed to caring about them fucking selves. So. Well, I don't want to be ranty, and I could continue to go, folks, but I think I'm going to wrap it up. Wrap up this week's segment with some thoughts and prayers, man. My thoughts and my prayers, they go out to the families. The families that lost their loved ones, their children especially, man. I mean, my heart goes out to you folks. So, I didn't want this podcast to be morbid like that, but I felt the need to say something. I felt like I needed to stand up and say something, man, because we just sitting here spinning shit around. We analyzing shit. Ain't nobody really seeming to be mad about it. Like I said, hats off to fucking Steve Kerr, man. My hero. Fuck basketball. We need to talk about what's happening in the country. And he's exactly right. Everybody needs to stop masking this shit over and start talking about what's really happening in our country. There's a lot of shit that's broken here. And it's seeming like nobody cares to fucking fix it. Where I live, the housing, you can't buy a fucking house. You barely can fucking afford to rent here. All of a sudden, 31% in a year, the fucking house, the cost of the homes where they're not paying anybody anymore. That shit's driving people fucking crazy. It's making people go out and get AR-15s and shoot shit up. But nobody cares because the only thing people care about is making money. And my question is the money worth it? Is it worth it to see our fucking country implode from the inside? To me, no. I'd rather get my ass on a boat and go sit in the middle of the Gulf for a little while you motherfuckers figure it out. And then give me a call when you do. I love my country, but I do not love the bullshit that's going on in it right now. And I'm going to fucking speak up. And I'll tell Joe Biden. I'll say it in Donald Trump's face. I don't give a fuck who it is. I'll tell you in your fucking face. You're fucking it up. All of you. And we're sitting here riding these motherfuckers' dicks like they the only ones out here. Fuck a Donald Trump. Fuck a Joe Biden. We need to stop. Wake the fuck up, America. Wake the fuck up, America. Vote these losers the fuck out. I'm going to pay some bills. When I come back, relationship goals, folks. Okay, folks, welcome back. Welcome back to the program. It is now time for relationship goals. That's right. This is the part of the program where I chronicle my relationship progress with my wife in our marriage and see what I can do to be a better person for not only her but myself as well and everybody around me. So this week's relationship goals, there's a couple of things. There's some things. Two things. A couple things I want to say. One is try not to take things personally. And I know that's hard for a lot of people, especially me. Very hard not to take things personally. And two, leave the past in the past. Okay? Simple as that. Leave the past where it is. some things happened in the past and it was great, cool, man, cool. But when you take on a person, especially when you take on a person, you have to make a determination. Are those things in the past important enough to hang on to, or are those things in the past exactly what they are, things in the past? You got friends from the past. Everybody does. Everybody's got friends. Everybody's got things that, things that in their past that they're, they don't do anymore. It was cool, great. But now there's a determination. Do I keep on to this? Is it important enough to keep on to? Is it cool enough to keep on to? And if so, how is that going to affect the current relationship that I have? Or is it not important? Is it, for me, I know for me that nothing that happened in my past, I don't want anything that happened in my past, honestly, to affect my present or my future with my wife. Nothing. I will fight. I will fight. I will fight. I'm saying I'm not letting any of that happen. You know what I'm saying? I'm always going to come to my wife and make her try and feel, no matter what, that I chose her, and the reason I chose her, and the reasons that I chose her. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of how much fun we've had in our past, regardless of, how cool, hanging out with one particular person was, or, how, off the chain they made your toes curl, or whatever the fuck, man, that shit is all in the past. That shit is all gone. You know what I'm saying? It's a memory. It's time to create some new ones with the person that you chose to create them with. That's why, for me, it's easy to let things in the past be just that, things in the past. I'm not, and it doesn't affect me like that because I'm not looking at it like a contingency. Because that's what a lot of people, they're afraid to let go of a lot of things because they look at it as a contingency. Well, what if this doesn't work, or so on and so forth. But see, you can't look at it like that, because when you start looking at it like that, then things eventually go sour, and it does go like that. So you can't ever have that mentality where you think, oh, well, what if this? Nah. You find ways to make sure or ensure that thing doesn't happen. And the way to do that is to focus in on your relationship and try your best for each other. And not just one-sided, both sides. It's got to be both sides doing it. It's got to be both sides dedicated to doing this. It's got to be both sides. You got to sit down. You got to talk. You can't be in boyfriend-girlfriend mode. You got married, if you are married. And if you're boyfriend, girlfriend, of course, you got some other shit to talk about. But if you're married, this is, something that's very, I'm sure that's very, very close to a lot of married folks, because, married people have social media. And on social media, there's a lot of people that you used to deal with before, and that, the last thing you want is somebody from the past to kind of, come through. So the one thing that needs to be established in the beginning is that, the past is that, exactly that. You know what I'm saying? Like I stand firm and steadfast and strong with saying that I could leave my phone at home all damn day, and you could go through that motherfucker to your heart's content, and there ain't shit on there, because I'm where I'm supposed to be at, and I'm doing the shit I'm supposed to be doing. But at the same time, you have to believe. You don't necessarily have to believe. You don't have to accept bad behavior, but you have to trust the fact that the person that you chose as your partner has that same feeling for you. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times you feel inadequacy or insecurities when people from the past arise. Those, all those fears come up, that you're going to lose the person that you with, that somebody's going to take what you earned, You lose, you start feeling, you go into a mode of panic. You go into a mood where you're trying to fight, and you're angry, and you're on edge all the time because it's something threatening you. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's difficult. It's really difficult most of the time. You know what I'm saying? So make sure that you are done with your past. You know what I'm saying? Before you turn into a person, to tell them that you want to create a future. Make sure that all that shit back there is back there. You know what I'm saying? That way you can encourage your person. You can tell them, you can ensure your person that, you chose them. You know what I'm saying? They chose you. It's not about, Mr. Goodbar from back in the day. It ain't about dude. You know what I'm saying? It ain't about, Miss, Apple Bottom back in the day. It ain't about that. You know what I'm saying? So, leave the past in the past. Don't take shit personally. Don't take shit personally. If people got down in the past, that's what they did in the past. That ain't got shit to do with you. Don't take it personally. You can't take it personally, or you're just going to be mad. You're just going to be mad. I don't want to be mad. So, those are my relationship goals. Try not to take things personally and leave the past in the past. And that goes for arguments too. When you're arguing with somebody, if you're arguing about what's going on right now, argue about what's going on right now. Don't argue about what happened, 6 weeks ago or 6 months ago or, 6 years ago. Don't bring shit, because you got past that. And all that's going to do is bring up a lot of old wounds. And all of a sudden you're going to be off the subject that you're talking about and throwing mud at each other at shit that you've already settled. Talk about what's going on in the moment. Talk about what's going on right now. You know what I'm saying? Don't be afraid to speak your feelings. You know what I'm saying? Don't be afraid to let your partner know where your insecurities lie. You know what I'm saying? Let them know. So at least they can understand. You know what I'm saying? And also, don't defend your past to your present and future. Do not do that, because you're showing that person that you're choosing your past over them. Don't defend that shit. Don't defend the people from it. Don't do that, because you're just showing them that those people are more important to you than they are. Those people and the relationships that you have with those people are more important to you than they are. And that's the last thing you want to show somebody that you married. So keep that in mind, folks. Okay? Well, I think that's going to do it for this episode of the Deron Harris podcast. I was supposed to have my friend David Chittum on, and I hope he's listening to this, because I'm going to kick your ass, boy, because you're supposed to be my guest on the show. He was my local gun expert, but who knows what happened to him. But yeah, folks, thank you for tuning in. And like I said, if we get together, we can make some changes. We could get some things happening. I want to thank everybody for tuning into my podcast. I want to thank my producer. I want to thank my best friend and my wife for supporting me and pushing me forward. And I thank all of you for listening and continuing to listen and download my podcast. Please leave some feedback. If you want to, you can reach out to me on my social media. That's Deron Harris on Facebook. It's Deron T. Harris on Instagram. You can get one of those two, and you can leave me a message, or you can tell me about a show topic you might want to talk about, or whatever, and I'll try to cover it for you. So, but in the meantime, and in between time, I'm about to step on out of here, get some things taken care of, maybe take my wife to lunch, do some other things, blah, blah, blah. Hey, see you next week.